Look, this long tunnel is the most convenient and fast way for villagers to contact the outside world. The children here have to go through this tunnel every day. It takes a few minutes to get to the other side. And this is a long time than walking the mountain road. This is the poor Lisu village contributed by the Naxiang prefecture of Yunnan province. Children have to pass this Naxiang gorge that is connected by water every day. A little carelessness will cause danger every time the escape is. Accompanied by the god of death, the children live on the bank of the Naxiang gorge. Dad went to work in the city to get angry. Mom stayed alone to take care of him and his sister, and a grandma who has been in bed for years, although the child has reached the age of school. But Mom still didn't let him go to school, because a few years ago, when Mom was lost, she almost fell into the river. Passed by the god of death. One day bitten by a snake. 10 years afraid of being in the province. The experience of almost losing your life made Mom extremely afraid of being lost. The child is the only boy in the family. She dare not let the baby go. In case of any good, she can't tell her husband and her old mother that, so she had to promise her son, wait for Dad to come back from work and take him to school. What do you need to buy at home? That's all daughter Naxiang to buy on the other side. One day, Grandma suddenly fell ill. Naxiang went to the river to find a doctor. The doctor was packing up and ready to leave. Under the distress of Naxiang, decided to go with Naxiang because the situation is very urgent, must be locked up to the past. The doctor was afraid and scared, want to go. When he turned his head, Naxiang begged him again. The doctor had to agree with his head, but I don't know when the lock was locked and the brake was released, hit the stone on the other side. Grandma got a mild cold and needed to take care of her illness. The doctor told Naxiang when he left, she will never come back. In the valley area of Zhenlujiang, life conditions are very hard. Ordinary people can't stand it. However, the teacher in Shenzhen chose to come to this poor mountain village. To finish his graduation thesis here. One day, the baby wanted the windmill in his sister's hand. That time, his sister was doing her own homework. He was very envious of his sister's ability to go to school, can play with a group of children. Naxiang comforted his brother. When Dad comes back, I can go to school. But the baby's heart was impatient. His sister told him happily, I'm going to build a bridge here. By that time, they could walk to school together and cut the bridge paper on the textbook for him. After that, the two brothers dreamed of building a bridge every day, walk to school together. The baby longed to go to school, longed to play games with children. After all, the baby was at the age of going to school. He was very yearning for school. His mother repeatedly reminded the baby not to wander alone. It was too dangerous. But on this day, his mother went out to work, his sister went to school, and secretly sneaked to the other side of the river, in order not to let his mother come back and find out. When he was leaving, he put his clothes on the wooden shelf he had made in advance, and put them on the roof. He pretended to lie on the roof. The baby came to his sister's school, and secretly listened to the teacher's lecture through the window. As he was passing by, the baby was afraid of being found and ran away. Teacher Nia came to the classroom, and was surprised by the scene in front of him. He was wearing cotton shoes and still cold, but the children were still wearing cold shoes in the cold weather. He was very sad to see this scene, so he took the time to measure the size of each child's feet. He contacted his friends in Shenzhen. To send new fishing boots and socks for the children. Teacher Nia led the way to the village, and gave the children new shoes. But because Teacher Nia was sliding, he did not know the braking time. He stopped halfway. Teacher Nia shouted from the village, and climbed over the rope like a tree. When Teacher Nia grabbed the coarse rope, his hand immediately felt a stabbing pain. An adult feels unbearable, and the children have to go through it every day. Teacher Nia was shocked and heartbroken. Finally, with the help of the villagers, he successfully arrived in the village. The baby saw Teacher Nia coming, and was afraid of being recognized. He quickly hid and got up. He happened to be met by the secretary who came to the house. He couldn't run away. A long-term baby came to the house. Teacher Nia recognized him at a glance. It was the boy who secretly listened to the class outside the school window. Now the baby's secretive thing has been exposed. Mom was angry and took the stick to pull him. In a hurry, the secretary stopped him. Teacher Nia put down the new shoes for the boy and left. The baby looked at the beautiful rain boots and liked them very much. He promised his sister to give him the rain boots. He no longer secretly licked the boots. The sensible sister felt sorry for her brother and promised him. That night, the baby was excited to hold the rain boots. He looked at the rain boots and finally slept with the rain boots. Although the sister was reluctant, she looked at the brother's excited and happy look. He also fell asleep slowly. The next day, the baby sent his sister to school. He saw that his classmates were all wearing the rain boots that Teacher Nia gave him. The sensible baby felt sorry for his sister. Other classmates wore new shoes. He couldn't let his sister wear cool shoes. So he personally put on the rain boots for his sister. He was very fond of the rain boots that teacher Nia gave him at school. He was reluctant to wear them. One day after school, he went to the small shop to buy cigarettes. He saw a pair of beautiful shoes and wanted to buy them for his brother. He was disappointed and put the shoes back. When he was about to leave, he met teacher Nia behind him. Teacher Nia saw everything that happened just now, so teacher Nia bought the shoes for him. He put the shoes in his bag. He didn't expect that this was the last time teacher Nia saw him. On the slide to go home, the shoes suddenly fell out. He let go of his hand and wanted to grab the shoes. Due to the loss of control of the control hook, the shoes fell into the river. The shoes and a rain boot were found and sent home. The child saw this scene and was very happy. The sudden blow from the back silenced Guayen, always sitting alone, looking far away. Mom didn't know what to do, so she called her dad, who worked in another place. After going home, after discussion, Dad decided to stay at home, but for the time being, Mom still dared not let the baby go to school, until one day, the village secretary brought teacher Nia home, and also brought them good news about the bridge. The secretary asked the baby's parents how to consider the child's school. Dad wanted to take the baby to school, but the baby's mother just experienced the loss of her daughter's pain, and she had once crossed the line because of the death of the baby. Out of fear, Mom firmly disagreed. Teacher Nia said he was willing to come to the baby every weekend. The baby is a smart child, a material for reading and studying. But soon teacher Nia found that the baby had severe psychological autism. Since the sister left, he has closed himself up. If he didn't change an environment to make new friends, he may never be able to get out of the sorrow of his sister's death. This will break the life of the baby. Mom finally agreed. The next day, she and Dad went to school with the baby. Maybe the sister was worried about her brother's escape in the spirit of heaven. The baby turned his head and found another baby on the riverbank. He still couldn't get out of the shadow of his sister's death. He saw the lock, and it was like he saw his sister again. In the end, he still dared not to slip away. So teacher Nia came to the baby's class every weekend. One day, when teacher Nia came to the baby's class, the baby took teacher Nia to see his painting. A bridge connected the two banks. The baby happily stood on the bridge. The baby picked up the powder on the ground and drew the sister on it. The two brothers have always had one common wish. It was that the sister walked to school with her brothers hand in hand. She no longer had to lock the door of the school, but walked on the solid bridge. But the sister left before she could see the bridge. 6 months later, the bridge finally rose. The baby took his sister's favorite windmill and walked to the bridge. Teacher Nia and the children were waiting for him. The baby walked on the bridge. Looking at the rolling river, he smiled. He seemed to see his sister sleeping in the river. He told her that his wish had come true. He could finally walk to school. Suddenly, he saw his sister holding his hand. They jumped together and ran to the other side of the river.